All right, Panther fans. So, a couple of days ago, I saw that Ryan Whitney had tweeted out that the Ottawa Senators could possibly be in the mood to move on from Brady Tkachuk, and he kind of thought maybe that they would have something in the works. And of course, that's kind of taken a little bit of a life of its own on Twitter, and Panther fans are doing what they do, which is anytime that they hear about any particular player that they might envision is better than something that we have, they will immediately start putting out trade proposals, etc., and talking about what we should do to get Brady Tkachuk. As they run the water up above my head, I apologize for the noise. Now, so Brady Tkachuk. Now let's just start here. Right? Of course, we need a left wing. He happens to be a fairly good left winger. I'm being sarcastic. No doubt, all things being even, I wouldn't mind throwing Tkachuk up there next to Barkov. Now, there's could we do it, should we do it, and would we do it? So I'm going to touch on a little bit of those things first. Should we do it and could we do it are kind of related. Now, the biggest piece, obviously, that the Panthers have that anybody would really want at this point is Sam Reinhart. Now, I know that you could talk about maybe throwing Montour into a mix, but this is not Huberdeau for Matthew Tkachuk. There's a couple of things. Obviously, it's not summer. We are in the middle. The Panthers are dead smack in the middle of a cup run here, and I mean, we're the Eastern Conference champs, right? So expectations have been set. So you don't really want to go letting guys go. We've talked about this. You're not going to move a guy in the middle of a cup run. Now, I've seen people say, kind of like I was saying with Huberdeau and Matthew, that because Tkachuk is a younger player, that they'd rather have, a 8 more years of Tkachuk than 8 more years of Reinhart. Well, no. And I'm going to bring your attention to just 2 basic statistics. Now, I know that Brady's younger, all right? Brady's younger, that's fine. Over the course of his career, Sam Reinhart has averaged .76 points a game, okay? Over the course of his career, Brady Tkachuk has averaged .78 points per game. So production-wise, they're like mirror images of each other. However, Sam Reinhart has 136 penalty minutes in his career. Brady Tkachuk had 126 last season. Let's try. Career, season. Okay? Brady Tkachuk had 10 fewer penalty minutes last season than Sam Reinhart has in his entire career. And he's on pace to probably obliterate that right now. He's at 104 penalty minutes for this season. Now, I get that that's the kind of player that Brady is. But why, if we're going to get the same points production, but 100 or more penalty minutes a season more, I don't see what the benefit there would be. Now, the other part to that is there's always a big dog. Every team has their big dog, right? Brady Tkachuk is the guy that you get in when you need a culture change, okay? Like we did with Matthew Tkachuk. But Matthew Tkachuk is the big dog. Now you're going to bring his brother in, and, on the surface, we might say, oh, wow, it'd be great. We got the brothers on the team, etc., etc. But is that a guarantee? Is that a guarantee that it works chemistry-wise? That is, with all due respect to Barkov. Barkov is the captain, but this is Chucky's team. Chucky's the one that came in and elevated their level of play along with Maurice, changed the culture. This is Chucky's team. Now you're going to have his brother come in, and how's that dynamic going to work? It's family. There is no guarantee that it is going to work the way that our fan base might envision and imagine it could go. It is no guarantee that it's going to be a positive thing. Now, Brady does have a hell of a temper, right? and he would probably have to temper that a little bit if he was to be on the Panthers, because Maurice preaches, playing smart, and that's the other thing. With Reinhart, he's one of the smartest hockey players that you're going to find. Now, in terms of could we do it, any deal that we would want to begin with is going to have to clear some cap space. So you could just say goodbye to Spencer Knight, which we've talked about being a possibility. But do we really just want to, supply the entire division with their possible future number one goalies? We already did it with Montreal. Now we did it with Buffalo. Are we gonna supply Ottawa with their potential future number one too? So when you get to the subject of price and what we'd have to give up, Huberdeau and Tkachuk were such different players, and at such a different point in their career, it made sense from our perspective. Okay, the Calgary Flames, I'm sorry, on no disrespect, but you didn't do your homework on Jonathan Huberdeau, because like I've made videos with before, those of us who had watched Huberdeau play knew this is it. No, Huberdeau's great, go. And it's not that he was bad, he was just never going to be what Calgary Flames fans were told he was going to be. This situation is different. We do not need a culture change. We need a left wing that can put the puck in the back of the net. That's what if you want to say there's anything that we need, that's the need. But what we don't need is another guy that's going to get 100 and whatever it is penalty minutes in order to do that. I'd rather, and I know Nick Cousins has his penalty minutes, so I'm not sitting here saying I'd rather have Cousins than Tkachuk. But if you have to blow up the top nine to get Tkachuk in, well, then are you really adding anything? I've seen people want to say to make Lundell part of the package. Okay, let's say you did that. You managed to do like Spencer Knight, Lundell, Sam Miskevich, and a two. Let's say you were able to do that. Well, now you have, or maybe you even sent Montour along too, right? Okay, but the point is with the top nine, if you move from Lundell, now you've got Barkov, Bennett, Luosterainen, okay? You're not really going to want to put Reinhart there, and you insert Brady Tkachuk on the top wing with Barkov. But guess what? Since we've moved Luosterainen over to center, you still got to have Nick Cousins in your top nine on the left wing. So what have you really done at that point besides completely interrupt the culture and the chemistry of the team? No. Now, if you ask me this question over the summer, depending on what the Panthers have done, I could possibly have a different opinion. That's the last thing. The Huberdeau-Tkachuk trade, that was in the middle of the summer. We had just hired Maurice, and there was already changes going on. That was a culture change need. That was an obvious need that we needed to get us over the hump. We're over that hump. We have the culture now. Brady would be adding a guy who could play with, he'd be part of the culture. He could score, but the extra 2 power plays that the other team is going to get every game might not be worth it. I don't want to go disrupting the chemistry of this team. If you want to find a way to get a guy in, if you watch my video from yesterday, whether it be Duclair or Wenberg or somebody like that, if you want to get somebody that slots in and replaces Nick Cousins in that top nine without disrupting the other players. And, if Brady becomes available, and that's the last thing, why would Ottawa want to do it in the first place? Why? He's so young. Why would they want to move on from him at this point in his career? I think his cap hit's like $8.25. So it's not like he's making $11-12 million a year. It's not like his cap hit is going to keep them from building a team around him. So I don't know why that would even be a possibility, unless Brady is becoming unhappy the way Matthew was in Calgary. And even then, you want to talk about it over the summer, that's one thing, right? Like if we can't sign Reinhart, right? If you get to the beginning of the next season and Reinhart is going to want to go somewhere else, you know, if you can find a way to make it work, you could try to make it work, but it'd probably be too pricey when you take into consideration the difference between. I'd rather have Reinhardt. I'd rather have Reinhardt than Tkachuk. It was different. I wanted Matthew Tkachuk more than I wanted Huberdeau, but in this instance, I'd rather Bill give Reinhardt the money and just keep rolling with this core and let's win some hardware.